Welcome to Scare Talk, a horror movie podcast for horror film reviews, ratings, rankings, and rumors. Now for your hosts, Danny, Joel, and Katrina.
Okay, this is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I'm here with Carrie, Katrina.
Oh, Carrie, Katrina. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. And who are you? You have to give yourself a nickname.
Oh, I'm Danny. Dynamite Danny. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I still couldn't help but interject my inner macho man. All right, so it's just the two of us today. Joel is no longer with us. He's just out today for this week. Last week it was just me and Joel. This week just me and Katrina. And next week we'll be back in full force, and we will be reviewing the Insidious: The Red Door. But in the meantime, the show must go on. So we are doing another review this week. And we are reviewing a fan suggestion request from Nicole. We are going to talk about Carrie from 1976.
Yes. And I will say, I have also been requesting this one.
Yes.
So I was very glad when this was requested by a fan because I was looking forward to doing this one.
Right. All right, so why don't you tell us who is a part of it?
Okay, so Carrie is played by Sissy Spacek, who has also been in Sam and Kate.
Okay.
Most recently. Homecoming.
All right.
And Castle Rock.
Oh, she was in Castle Rock.
Yeah.
I wonder if because Castle Rock is a show that's based off of like Stephen King stuff.
Oh,
I wonder if she plays Carrie. Does it say?
Oh, let's see.
Like, go back?
Why go back?
Because it had a it should have said.
She plays Ruth. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Oh, okay. She plays Ruth Deaver.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
That's cool that she's in that show.
Yeah. So then we've got John Travolta playing Billy Nolan.
Oh.
And John Travolta has been in some other movies. People might know him a little bit.
Yeah.
He's been in something called Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
He's been in Grease.
Mm-hmm. Around that time. I think Grease was in the 70s, right?
Mm-mm.
No?
No. I don't think that Grease is that old.
I think so.
I think it's newer than that. Okay. And he's been in Michael.
Michael, yes.
that was
my favorite John Travolta movie is Face Off.
I was thinking you would want me to mention that, but you're right. 1978 is Grease.
Oh yeah, just a couple years later.
Yeah. He improved a lot by the time he got into Grease.
Mm-hmm.
So good job.
Absolutely.
Most improved. John Travolta gets the most improved. And then Sue Snell is Amy Irving.
All right.
And she has been in Confetti.
All right.
Unsane.
Oh.
And she was in one episode of House.
Okay. Unsane. I don't know if I finished that, but I recently bought that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I finished it though, but it looks interesting.
Okay. So. She was also in Hide and Seek.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So, then we'll go into the director is Brian De Palma,
Okay.
and the writers are Stephen King
Yeah, the story. Yeah.
and Lawrence D. Cohen.
Okay.
So, do you want to let us know what this is about?
All right. So this synopsis here: Carrie White, a shy, friendless teenage girl who is sheltered by her domineering religious mother, unleashes her telekinetic powers after being humiliated by her classmates at her senior prom.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is seen as a classic.
Yeah.
Based off the Stephen King story. I've always heard of it as being like really good. I had never seen it before.
Yeah, this is your first time.
2 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I always heard it was good. But let's see what the critics and the audience says on IMDb. We'll start with IMDb.
Yeah, IMDb has it as a 7.4 out of 10.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Especially for horror,
Yeah.
right?
I'm pretty sure like Halloween has like a 7.6 or something like that. So
okay,
it's up there.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not higher than Halloween, but okay. It is so much of a classic, and the thing is, I mean, it's horror, but it's also so much more.
Yeah. Okay.
So then we've got Rotten Tomatoes, and the tomato meter has it at 93%.
Okay, so that's the critics.
93%.
That's good.
Yeah.
So with the tomato meter, I don't know if you know how it works. So I'm going to explain how it works.
Tell me. Yeah.
So I believe if you give it over a 60%, that's considered fresh. Okay.
Yes. We talked about that before.
Right. So what that's saying is 93% of the critics gave it a 60 or higher.
Okay.
That's what that means.
Okay.
Yeah. So that it's not an average of 93%.
Okay.
It's 93% of the total people gave it a fresh score.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is the freshest score I've seen on Rotten Tomatoes so far.
So far.
And then we've got the audience score of 77%.
Okay.
So not too bad with audience either.
Critically acclaimed movie.
Yes, very much. So now I would love to hear your experience, being that it was your first time watching.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I always heard about this movie. Always heard it was good, and a good horror movie, Stephen King. But I knew what it was just from hearing about the movie. I knew it was about a girl who was bullied and had these powers, gets the bucket of blood dropped on her at prom, and gets revenge on her bullies. I knew all of that already.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much why I never watched it, because I just felt like it was just going to be what I thought it was, and I wasn't going to get much out of it. And it's like a 70s movie, so it's older. So that's definitely why I didn't watch it in my younger years. I didn't want to watch old movies. But I am, I was excited to watch it for the episode because, doing these shows gives us a reason to watch these movies I might not have watched otherwise. I always heard it was good.
Although I was going to make sure he watched this movie otherwise, but thanks, Nicole, for speeding that
up. So as far as what I thought, though, I will say it's a mixed of this movie's kind of weird, and this movie is pretty awesome.
Okay.
I think the weird stuff might just be the 70s.
Well, that's the thing. You have to look at it and take it in as the time that it's being made.
Yeah. So like some of the dialogue, some of the acting, some of the like music choice during different scenes.
Yeah.
Some of the sound effects. was dated for sure.
Yeah.
So that stuff and like just the way the characters were and stuff.
Well,
was
yeah,
weird.
and the way the bullying was done and
Yeah,
all that, it
yeah.
was like so extreme
Yeah.
and so
First scene.
oh my gosh. Yeah, and that's how bullying was seen though in those older movies.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
John Travolta's character, oh my gosh, like the whole scene with them in the car
that
and
was
everything.
weird.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. So we can talk about some of those scenes.
Yeah.
So the movie starts, and we're spoiling this movie.
Are you gonna do like a whole rundown?
No. I just want to talk about the beginning scene to like, because that's my first experience with the movie is that first part. And I'm like, what is this? This is weird. So it starts with a girls' locker room at a high school. A lot of naked girls that are in high school. So, and I always wonder about that. When on film, when it's like nudity with characters who are supposed to be teenagers,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the actors can't be
No,
teenagers.
they're adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
some of them you can like tell are adults. Like they look like a lot older than high school.
And that's usually the case, but I always find it weird when it's like they're supposed to be high school kids, you know?
Yeah.
But we're seeing them with no shirt and I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. Yeah. And so there's a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, and like a total classic like 70s horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like page right out of Jason.
Well, he's 80s. So
okay, well, we know where he got his style.
Yeah, it didn't change up until like the 90s.
Yeah,
kind of just continued. But and then another thing. So they're in the locker room. They're all joking around, getting dressed, and then Carrie is taking a shower. And that's another thing about like, especially older movies. Did you ever take a shower in high school?
There
like,
were showers in
PE?
our yeah.
You actually used them?
Well, with my bathing suit on.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because after swim and stuff.
Oh yeah, I could see maybe after swim.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like we just watched Nightmare on Elm Street and Nightmare 2 recently, and like that was part of that movie too. Like, oh, go hit the showers, you know, after PE.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I never did that. I don't even know if there were showers in our locker room.
Oh. Yeah, we had showers, and I mean, I went to a school that is still very old.
Yeah.
Like, I think the locker rooms probably still look the same as when I was there, and then they still look the same from when my parents were there.
Oh my gosh!
So it's a very old school, but
like, how do you have time for that?
Yeah, well, I wanted to like wash my hair up and stuff before going. To the next class.
I remember not having much time to get dressed before starting the class and then getting back to the locker room to get dressed to leave.
Yeah.
I don't remember having time to even think about taking a shower.
Yeah.
It's just weird to me. And to like, you know,
well,
is everybody
like
going to take a shower?
Yeah. I mean, they did like full on showers and stuff, but it's just like when you go to like a pool. Yeah. And which I don't
like
think you are used to either, but like there's like a little shower area, and it's not like it's like right outside, you know,
out in the open.
And you just want to make sure to get like the chlorine out of your hair and everything.
And I could see that for swimming.
Yeah.
But if it's like you're playing
but if you get all sweaty, if you're like really into it and get all sweaty and everything, especially in the 100-degree weather, you're all hot, then you want to like rinse off.
Yeah, I can see rinsing off your hair and
before you go to
I
the
just
next
can't
class.
see doing a full on shower.
A full on shower. Yeah. Well, and the way the scene was done was like as if it was like this full like getting into the shower and really
she really
caressing the whole...
She really enjoys the shower
until she doesn't.
and then she starts bleeding. And then she starts freaking out and like she's naked, running around the locker room with her bloody hand,
Yeah.
going like at the other girls and stuff. And then they start throwing tampons and towels at her. I'm like, oh my gosh, what the hell is this movie?
Yeah.
So weird. It was a
Yeah.
really weird way to introduce this movie.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like the way Carrie was acting was like, does she have like special needs?
I know. That's what it seemed like at first.
Yeah.
So there were a few things that were going on with that.
Yeah.
One, it was like before even they showed the locker room and stuff, even outside, it's like everyone was all mad at her for like missing the shot, and then they came up and slapped her and like all this. And she's just like hangs her head down low, won't really look at anyone.
Yeah.
Then when she goes in there, it's starting to be like, okay, maybe she's like just a very shy person or whatever.
Right.
Then after that scene, it was like, whoa, does she have some kind of disability?
Yeah.
But then you're kind of stuck with wondering, like, was there something on that soap bar? Like, did it cut her? And it's not actually her period coming, but like it cut her. Or was it actually her period coming?
Yeah.
And like, but then when they're throwing the tampons and pads and everything, and then that is what ends up being, is that's what happened.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, like, how did she not ever know about this?
Yeah. She's like telling her mom. Like,
she's a senior in high school. And so, like, the fact that...
Is that like a thing? Does that happen?
For it to not
girls?
come until your senior year? That is not like a common thing for sure.
Might have some sort of medical
well,
issue.
And the thing is like, you know, there's theories around like your diet and that kind of stuff. But there were theories within her own family system of what it means if you do get your period.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
For this movie, for this story, you know, it fits.
Well, yeah.
Because she's
that's
really enjoying that shower.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she starts to bleed. So it's like, because what the mother believes is you're not going to have that happen to you as long as you're sinless.
Yeah, including lust.
Yeah.
And so her big thing was, you must have been lustful.
Yeah.
Towards someone.
Yeah.
You must have been thinking something.
Right.
And then that happened.
Right.
And I didn't even think about that, of like the fact that, because the way that they show the shower in this movie is like so sensual.
Yeah.
But I think that's
like
for the audience.
Credits. It's like, geez.
Yeah. But I think that's for, you know, that's for the audience, you know, for views.
I guess so.
But I didn't even think about how it goes with that lustful thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a weird part of the movie.
Yeah.
But multiple parts in the movie is with her and her mom, their interaction. I thought that was really intense. Really like kind of uncomfortable to watch how, you know, it says in the description, domineering, controlling the mother is about, you know, and using the religious, you know, doctrines and stuff to, you know, really put her daughter down. And, you know, she doesn't want her to do anything. She's shaming her for all of the, you know, things that she's thinking her daughter is doing or going to do, or, you know, all that. And, you know, puts her
for just being a woman.
Yeah. Puts her in the like closet.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like this closet that is a prayer closet.
Is that what it's supposed to
be? That's
be?
what she was saying.
Okay.
You need to go pray.
Oh, that's right.
And so it's like this prayer closet that she gets locked in when she does something that she needs to repent for.
Right. It's like a confessional.
Yeah, yeah. And then once her mom feels like she's prayed enough, she'll unlock it.
Yeah. But those scenes, you know, there's numerous scenes where they're interacting and the mother is really upset with her. She's really upset with her mom. I feel like the acting was really good during those scenes. Yeah. It's really believable. You know, the mother is really, really stern and kind of scary. and then Carrie just seems terrified
Yeah.
of her mom.
Yeah.
And so those scenes I thought were pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that I kept telling you about was that it really reminded me of that feeling, the same atmosphere of Pearl.
Yes.
And that was something that I didn't ever really even realize, because I've seen Carrie.
Yeah.
I've seen it a number of times. It's funny because I didn't remember certain things. I didn't remember the extreme nudity at the beginning and that whole scene. I don't know that I even remember. I mean, I did remember parts of that scene, so I had seen it, but I didn't remember all that.
Yeah.
But I had, there were certain parts that I remembered, but I didn't ever really connect how much that was like Pearl, how much of a feeling I got.
Yeah, once you watched Pearl, you weren't like, oh, this is like Carrie.
Yeah. But seeing it now, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, they totally
and
had
this
influence,
was
had influence on Pearl.
Yeah, and that was like so much of what I loved about Pearl is that it felt like an old movie, and it felt like this like old fashioned, like simplistic but creepy and uneasy feeling that you get. And this was so much that, and the interactions with mom.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. At one point there was this scene of them at dinner. And it was it was like the same coloring and just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it was darker with like just like the candles or whatever.
Yeah.
And the lightning was flashing like with the Last Supper picture on the wall, and it would like be dark and then the lightning would flash and show the picture real quick.
Yeah.
I thought that the lighting
and
stuff
that
was
Last
cool.
Supper image was like creepy.
Yeah.
Like some of the guys in the thing had like blacked out eyes and stuff.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Okay.
And that was when Carrie stood up to her mom and was like, no, I'm going.
I'm going to this prom.
And that was the first time that she showed her telekinesis powers.
Right.
Because at first it was almost like Carrie didn't really understand what was happening with that. And she didn't really realize, am I controlling this? Or, I think she kind of realized that it was like her anger or whatever that made things happen, but she didn't have a clear awareness of how to do it.
Right.
And I think that was part of what made her feel like so weird, you know?
Yeah. She didn't want to, get too emotional about anything.
Yeah.
Then something might fly across the room or.
Yeah. And then she started studying about it and learning.
She started looking into it.
And so then she got the confidence to use it against her mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that was something that I thought was different than what I thought. So I didn't think we were going to see her being able to do these things right away.
Yeah.
It was like 5-10 minutes into the movie, the ashtray is getting flipped around by her.
Yeah.
And she's knocking somebody off a bicycle and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of going to develop throughout the movie. I didn't think we were going to see it right away. But when she does these little tricks, there's like this sound effect that happens, and it's like, wee! It's just like real fast and sudden. And like that's kind of some of the weird stuff. I was like, okay, this is weird. Like I don't know, but it was also kind of cool, like because it was like startling. That sound effect was kind of startling. So yeah, that was something that was a little different for this movie and unexpected.
Well, and something I think I had talked to you about with like Psycho is it's like they learn this new thing, and so then they're like, oh, we're gonna totally use that. And so with Psycho it was like these special effects of like the hand flying off down the stairs and stuff. And with this, it was like, oh, we figured out sound effects.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're going to use them like crazy.
All over,
And so
yeah.
this movie is just filled with sound effects. And it has that psycho.
That psycho score. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at parts I was telling you when we were watching, I was like, that's straight from Psycho. Like that like 5 seconds right there is the exact score from Psycho.
Yeah.
It sounded like it to me.
Yeah. Well, and the sound effects of like the slap in the car, and it's just like, bam.
But he just does this.
Yeah. He goes. And it really was like after the fact too.
Yeah,
And
I was like, did he slap her? Is that what happened? It looked like he like brushed her, but it sounded like a slap.
Yeah. And there were so many sound effects in this movie, and so much like it's like they figured out, oh my gosh, the sound of the movie really changes the feeling. Yeah. And so we're just gonna play with it like crazy.
A little overdone.
Yeah.
So yeah, the stuff with her mom I thought was really, really well done. And being that I knew what was going to happen, I knew eventually she was going to go to the prom and this bucket of blood was going to be dropped on her. And I knew it was pig's blood, because of Scream.
Oh, okay.
That's how I knew it. Because he says like, oh, what does he say? Like corn syrup.
Oh.
Like the blood they use for pig's blood and Carrie.
Okay.
So that's how I knew it was pig's blood, and that's how I knew that once they were in the barn or whatever, that's what they were doing.
Oh, okay.
That they were going to kill a pig, which is just like, that's over the top.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense. I was like, man,
I
didn't think they were going to show it. Like, I mean, they don't necessarily show the pig being killed, but like off screen, like they show
him
like,
doing the thing,
like sledgehammer or whatever he's got.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, these kids are brutal.
Yeah. I mean, the opening scene, you can see how brutal the kids were. Yeah. Oh, but I'm getting off track. I can bring it up later.
Okay. So yeah, and so I know that she's gonna go to the prom. I know that the bucket of blood's gonna be dropped on her. But so I'm like, okay, these characters are doing this to get her to the prom, to make her the winner of the prom queen and all that, so that we can have that moment. But there was some like mystery as far as who is trying to get her to go to the prom and who is just trying to be nice to her.
Yeah.
So we were kind of talking about that throughout the movie. Like, wait, is this girl like part of it, part of the plan, or is she just trying to be nice?
Yeah.
Same with the guy.
Yeah.
And so that was something that was different too. I thought it was just everybody was against her, you know. It was kind of like a she's all that kind of setup, you know. Yeah. It's kind of what it reminded me of, the whole prom queen thing.
Well, and it does remind me of She's All That too, but also in She's All That, he was against her at first, but he fell for her.
Right.
And it was almost like that with this guy.
Yeah.
It was like he was in on this, and then he was starting to I don't know.
Yeah.
With him, it's much harder to tell if he was, because he like, I don't know if it was a fist bump or what, but he like high-fived or whatever the guy who was doing the count, who rigged the count.
Right.
And so he was like, seemed like he was in on it with him.
Yeah.
But was that just because he wanted to win?
Right.
So was the guy saying, hey, we're going to rig it so that you win?
Right.
And that was what he was just thinking, like, oh, it's going to be funny that we win.
They're just friends too, though.
Yeah.
Like they are friends.
But there was definitely a, like, when he went up there after winning, he like did a side. Okay.
So it was like,
hey, nice one, you know?
Gotcha.
And so it was like, oh, so that got me thinking, oh, he was in on this.
Okay.
But then Sue's running around like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
Why are they pulling this? And so it was like Sue was, so it was almost like they wanted her to win prom queen and whatever.
Yeah.
But Sue and possibly the boyfriend
didn't know about the blood.
They were honestly wanting her to win.
Yeah.
Because Sue was feeling bad for what they did.
Right.
And so Sue actually was trying to do something nice for
Yeah.
her. And told her friends we owe it to her.
Right.
And
yeah, she even like had her boyfriend like take.
Yeah, she was the one who had her boyfriend take
Carrie.
her.
So and then she
and so
couldn't go.
she missed prom. Yeah,
Yeah.
she missed prom.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah.
And she wasn't behind the scenes with them
No.
all. She did end up coming and looking. But then when she noticed that the string and everything and the kids under, she was trying to stop it.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know. I found like that to be interesting.
Yeah.
As far as the mystery, or like I can't like put myself in a position where I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I would have thought if I were just watching it for the first time without any knowledge. But
I wonder how many people actually have seen this movie not knowing what's going to happen.
Back in the 70s, I guess.
Or they read the book and knew.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I wonder how close the.
I don't know that this is a movie that ever was super intended to not know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I thought everybody was in on it, and then this girl kind of felt bad, so I was like, is she actually trying to help her, or what's going on here with her? So
yeah, and we got that answered by the end.
Yeah,
and then it was like the teacher.
Yeah, the teacher too.
That's what I was going to say. Like, okay. Oh my gosh, the way the teacher treated these kids. Yeah. Oh my gosh, she was smacking them and like
grabbing them like,
stop. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, the way that the teachers could talk to the kids and like just like whoop them into shape. Yeah. Like, oh my goodness gracious. You listened to your teacher back then.
Right.
And then it was like she was so much on Carrie's side, and then to see her just get
like she just got chopped in half pretty much.
Yeah, that was sad because it was sad to see that Carrie saw her laughing when I imagine she wasn't laughing.
And so you know, they go to the prom. We get the whole dance scene. So Carrie and what's his name?
I love the dance scene where they're
dancing and spinning forever. I was starting to get dizzy watching that. Yeah, but it was a cool looking scene.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, really cool.
I loved that.
They were spinning around, and it got like more and more. It got faster and faster.
I didn't think it was overwhelming.
It did get to me a little bit. But you had mentioned that. And then, you know, her being the prom queen and all that kind of reminded you of Pearl's auditions.
Yeah.
And
that spinning, it
was like her in this fantasy world in her mind.
Yeah.
And then when, you know, she gets rejected in Pearl.
Yeah.
And when the blood comes dropping down on her and Carrie, then that's when the switch happens. And, you know, she got the blood dropped on her, all the laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
It was very much like Pearl.
Very much.
And then after that, in Pearl is when she goes off. And then in Carrie is when she goes off, which to me was the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what you're waiting for the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the intention.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be the grand finale? And,
right.
Yeah.
And so for me, whenever I'm going to watch a horror movie, there's always like, you know, especially if it's not like a ghost story or a haunting or a possession or whatever, there's always like the bad guy, you know, there's always the villain, the killer, whatever.
Yeah.
So in this one, knowing that this is a bullied girl who's going to get revenge, that doesn't seem scary to me because I want her to get revenge.
Yeah.
You know, she's not the bad guy necessarily.
Yeah.
But she was creepy. Once she was already kind of weird, but once she the blood's on her face, like her eyes all big, the fire everywhere, that looked really cool, and she was scary in those scenes. So I thought that was really effective. The whole massacre at the prom was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, the kill count in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was saying to you, like, certain movies, they do like these kill counts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know that they even could do a kill count for
Right.
this because it was just everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was wondering too, like the whole hose thing. That was really cool, but is that killing people?
Oh, well, those hoses are very powerful.
Yeah.
And she was blowing them into stuff.
Yeah.
And so they were banging hard.
Yeah.
And so when you hit yourself that hard against something, but not even that, it might not have killed him. It maybe passed him out, like knocked him out. But then she lit the whole place on fire.
That's true. Yeah.
And so they were dead after that.
Yeah.
It was definitely a massacre.
And then she, oh gosh, what did she do to John Travolta? And
oh my
Chris
gosh! Well,
in their
they were
car?
gonna hit her.
Yeah, they were about
with
to
the
run
car.
her over. Yeah.
She's just like walking out and like gonna walk home.
Yeah.
And then they're coming up behind her, and so she just turns around and just with her telekinesis just flips the car,
and then it explodes.
And it's like, man, like, and that you were kind of like, because
well,
I mean the fact that they were
her.
gonna hit her, and oh
it's
my
like,
gosh,
man, you didn't do enough to this girl.
they were so evil, and the whole time you're like, oh my gosh, she's killed everybody but the two that actually started it are out, and so you're like hoping that they get theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was cool, and that's something that is missing from movies today. All that fire, all that stuff was real.
Yeah,
that was real objects flying, real fire. That car actually flipped and exploded. Like they had a stunt driver or something. Like it was really done. There was no CGI. It wasn't fake.
Yeah.
Of course, people weren't killed or whatever, but the things you're seeing on screen.
Actually
the things you're seeing on screen are actually physical realities.
Yeah.
There's no digital, other than the sound effects added later.
Yeah.
So, and I read a fun fact about this.
Oh, okay.
So
fun fact.
it took 3 days to film the whole prom massacre.
Okay.
And all 3 days, Sissy Spacek, I think that's right how you say it,
mm-hmm.
Spacek, she just continued to wear the gown and just went to sleep in it, woke up in it. And so she wanted continuity with where the blood was. On her.
Okay.
So she didn't want them to have to redo it every day because then it might not be in the same spot.
Wow.
Might not look exactly the same.
Wow.
So she went for it. Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
And it was corn syrup.
It was.
So probably pretty sticky and
Yeah.
Probably didn't feel too good to actually
Be
get it off
in it?
later.
Yeah.
It would probably hurt. So I thought that was a cool little fun fact.
That is.
And then when she gets home and gets in, with her mom, that was really creepy. I didn't know what was going to happen there.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I don't know what is next because all I know is the prom and all that.
Yeah.
So then when there's candles everywhere in the house, her mom's hiding behind the door. I thought that was really creepy. And her mom is you're like a demon child, so she's trying to kill her.
Mm-hmm. She
stabs her in the back, but then Carrie is able to use her telekinesis and just basically crucify her mom. and then the house goes down. Gets caught on fire and just falls apart and just sinks into the ground. All of that was really cool too. Yeah. I really liked that.
I was waiting for the part with her mom.
Yeah.
Because I had remembered.
Mm.
So earlier in the movie, it was when she was saying, "No, I am going to the prom."
Yeah.
And there was a butcher knife on the counter, and I was like, waiting for it to happen then,
Mm.
because I remembered that it happened, but
Mm.
I didn't remember that was the last thing
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah.
And so when she got home and you're like, what is going on? And I'm just like, wait, just wait.
Yeah, I saw the candles
And,
everywhere and
yeah.
stuff. I'm like, where's the mom? And like, what's the plan here?
Yeah.
So,
You're like,
that
is
was
she
cool.
dead? And like, I'm just
I was
like,
is
in
the
my head,
powwow?
I'm
what
like
happened?
thinking, oh, you just wait. And yeah, I was excited for that part, for you to
It
see
was
that
good.
part.
It was
But
good.
you made observation that I
Mhm.
didn't see
Mm.
until you said it.
Mm-hmm.
In the prayer room,
Mm-hmm.
there was like this, it was almost like a voodoo doll.
Yeah.
And it had the knives in there, and it was like it was like a Jesus doll kind
Yeah.
of thing. Where it was like crucified kind of thing, but it had the knives in
Yeah.
a specific line.
Right.
And that was exactly how her mom's body
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool, because it was like this was to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this was always
Right.
the fate.
Right. The fate of her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When she showed it, because she like lights the candle, and then you can see the little doll and everything. And I was thinking it was like a Jesus doll, but then I'm like, no, it looks different. Like,
Yeah.
the face looks different. The eyes are super creepy.
Yeah.
The way
and it
he's,
looked like a voodoo doll.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it has the knives in it and stuff,
Yeah.
the little tiny knives.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the ending was pretty awesome, very intense. The
So
acting
why
was
do
really
you
good.
think, or how do you think, what do you think happened with the house falling to the ground? Because I keep
Yeah.
thinking about different things.
I think it was like a symbolic of them going to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the easy answer. Okay. Don't think too hard.
I mean, that's what I think. I think that
Yeah.
they.
But do you think
both
she
were-
had something to do with it, or do you think it was
her
just-
behavior.
Okay, you think it was a behavior thing?
Yeah, I think
'Cause
because
my
of what she
thought-
did and what her
Okay.
mom did, God did some work.
Okay. Because my thinking was this her telekinesis
Mhm.
sending her down? Because she was so upset
Mhm.
and so worked up.
Right.
And then the house starts crumbling
Right.
and stuff. And it's
Right.
like, is this her telekinesis getting out of control?
Sure. Yeah.
And then she's thinking with her mind,
Yeah.
we're going to hell, you know?
Okay.
And so then the house does.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
could
was
be.
my.
She seemed to have control over it, though.
Yeah.
From the prom part all the way through her mom dying. So then,
Yeah, but
then all of a sudden she's out of control.
or was she in control? Was she
She's doing that on purpose?
choosing?
She didn't seem to be enjoying that. She
Well-
was like hiding and screaming and trying to not
Yeah.
get hurt from the ceiling caving in and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it was just, was
God striking him down.
Striking him down, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the devil saying, "Hey, I like you guys.
Yeah, come on
down." But then it's not over. Then we have
yeah.
the girl who was the nice girl of the bunch going and like
I wouldn't call her the nice girl.
well,
of
turns
the
out to
bunch.
be
She
only
was
one
the
that's-
remorseful
okay.
girl of the bunch.
Yes. Goes and sees the house, and she drops some flowers or something, and then Carrie's hand comes up and grabs her. But then it was a dream. She was like, freaking out in bed, and so it definitely has caused some mental health damage to the town. But that part made us both jump.
Oh,
when
yeah.
Her hand came up and grabbed her. And that, like a jump scare, that's not like a common thing for a 70s movie.
Yeah.
So,
well,
and watching it at home and still getting the jump scare, it was pretty good.
And for something like this, where it's like, okay, everything already happened.
Yeah.
I think that's why it was so startling.
Yeah, it was like, whoa, I didn't
it was
expect
like-
something to happen there. Yeah.
Well, and you almost were like, what's gonna happen here?
Mm-hmm.
But you weren't expecting something to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like almost like, oh my gosh, is she gonna sink in with it? Is like a thought that came to my mind of like,
yeah,
she was just as bad, is she gonna sink in with them? And I don't know.
Yeah. It was like tension filled, that part. Yeah. But yeah, you just couldn't really tell what was coming. Like you knew something was coming. But then when she grabs her, it was like, oh dang. Yeah, so I mean overall I really liked it. Definitely some weird stuff that I think is just 70s weirdness. And this movie is 1976, so it's around the Exorcist, Halloween, Black Christmas, around within a few years of all of those movies. So this is like a good time for horror. Yeah. Some classics there that came out around this time. So,
yeah. I think
good acting and everything too.
I think this is the best of those.
Yeah.
Of those. Yeah, of that era.
I think
I know your precious Halloween is in with that. So.
As far as the acting especially, I think the acting, well, no, Exorcist is better acting.
Well, the acting between Mom and Carrie, especially.
Yeah.
Sue did a pretty good job. But some of the other teenagers,
I did all right. Yeah. Oh, this was probably the weirdest part. And I don't know, were they trying to add some comedy to it or what, but there's like 3 dudes and they're getting ready for the prom and they're like trying on tuxes.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them is like, no, I don't want to wear a tux. I don't wear tux, blah, blah, blah. And they're in like the, suit shop or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 guys it like goes in fast forward.
Oh, yeah.
And they have like these little chipmunk voices and it like fast forwards their conversation real quick.
Yeah.
And then the other guy gets on like a shirt tux or whatever and it's supposed to be funny. And I'm like, what? Why is this in there?
I know.
So
it was
weird.
So funny because it was almost like, it was like, okay, we're going to like, when you see those videos on like an iPhone where it like does it in fast motion or whatever, like speeds it up. It was like that.
Yeah.
Like when you see cooking shows or something, and it's like, okay, we're gonna show this really quick, kind of thing. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, show the conversation really quick, but it's like they didn't have to keep the voices going.
Yeah.
They like even did the voices all sped up, and so it was like
really weird.
It was almost like how like you would do a high school project or something and you're like, oh, let's speed this part up. And it's like, you don't realize that the voices are going to change and everything.
Yeah. I wonder if
it was very funny.
Were they trying to be funny? It has to be. Like
I think that they were trying to add a little bit of comic relief, but definitely with really that weird whole way to part. Do it, though. With the speeding up thing, I don't even know that was supposed to be a comic relief. I think that was just like okay, let's speed this up, like show that they've been talking for a long time, because that's what it shows. Is like, okay, they must have been talking for a long time because this is like the sped up version of it.
But it wasn't. I don't know.
And so he was like off on his own for a long time. And then he comes back and he's like, how about this? And it's like a shirt tuxedo thing. Yeah. But I think that the whole tuxedo guys interacting was the comic relief. Yeah. But the speeding up, I don't know that was intentionally comic relief, but it was funny.
I don't know that I've ever seen that.
Yeah, and I wonder if it ever has been done again.
Especially in like a very serious movie. Yeah. To all of a sudden have this little couple minute scene. It's like, where? Yeah, it's almost like, what was this put on an accident?
Yeah,
like it's like a deleted scene. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we watch some weird version. You're gonna have to let us know if that's like in the version that you've seen, because that to me just seemed to not fit at all in the movie and should have been taken out.
But it got us talking.
It was funny. Yeah. It was funny. Just
I don't think it hurt the movie.
No, I wouldn't say it hurt it. Just weird. Yeah. All All right. So
All right.
should we grade it?
I think we should.
All right.
I've already yawned twice, so I think it's time to start wrapping up.
Okay. Wrap it up. What's your grade?
95.
95. All right. Now I've been contemplating. So, I think I'll give it like a 92.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think I'll go in the 90s. I wasn't thinking I would before talking about it more.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I talk about it and I remember some of the stuff, I can kind of look past the weird stuff.
Yeah.
And if anything, the weird stuff is entertaining. It's funny.
Well, and you have to grade it for its time period.
Right.
And for its time period, that was a pretty darn good movie.
Yeah. Especially for the content and stuff. And then I think, would I watch this again? And I would. And I would especially want to watch it with someone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
And so I do think I can see myself watching this numerous times in the future.
Yeah.
As like a classic.
Yeah.
It's a pretty creepy movie.
Yeah.
Well done.
All right.
So that was our review for Carrie 1976. And look out for next week when we will be talking with Joel. Joel's coming back.
Yes, Joel.
And we're going to talk about Insidious, The Red Door, and then probably rank the whole franchise within that episode. Maybe do a separate episode.
Yeah.
Maybe do a separate. We'll
Okay.
see. Because we got a couple of more movies coming out. We've got Talk to Me coming out. We've got Sympathy for the Devil with Nicolas Cage coming out. We've got there's at least one more. I can't think of what it is, but we've got a few movies coming out in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see if we do a separate ranking video, but so look out for the conclusion to the Insidious review series next week.
Look out, guys. All right, this has been Scare Talk.
Sleep tight. I'm like, how are we gonna do this? Sleep tight.
I stole his part. Don't let Carrie bite. I mean, that was obvious.
All right.